Good afternoon. Today, 17th of November. I'm doing this presentation for the purpose of contracts2u.com, which is a website which compares properties and giving an index comparison among different properties. This has been a quite interesting area whereby presentation has not been detailed enough for how to use this. So I'm actually doing this presentation today for the purpose of how to actually apply the indexes in the selection of properties. Let me begin. Naturally, we are actually comparing unconsciously things that we see. We compare things like how expensive the thing is when you go to supermarket. We also sometimes compare successes between two individuals, like in terms of performance in school, marks, and also, in fact, jobs, who get what type of job, and even the jobs within the jobs, you also compare things like how many holidays or how many days of leave. So this is natural of us to compare and select. So in the more negative sense, it is in the fact that we discriminate. We discriminate certain types of elements. Let's say we discriminate people who has bad habits, let's say. We also could discriminate certain types of feng shui, which is in particular important taboo in property selection. So in fact, we have developed methods to distinctively and clearly see these differences in discriminating the things that we see. Like we have graphs and diagrams for making sure this differentiate out between two aspects of comparisons, and also images sometimes between dirty and clean. In fact, in the comparison of cleanliness in certain hotels, immediately and instantaneously we can see the difference. And this is the nature that we are selecting, so that we want the best for our dollar lah. So, in terms of comparing, you need to be sure of what you are comparing. Of course, comparing things sometimes distinctively varies. There's not much of comparison. In fact, if you compare a man to a woman, then there is no comparison, because both are entirely different gender. Similarly, like in this picture, you're comparing on one left hand side is food, and the right hand side is you know display of plant, which is totally different thing. So you cannot compare like this. So in the property sense, you cannot compare two entirely different types of property. For example, you cannot compare an empty land to a strata building, and also you cannot likely compare a factory to a residential building. Therefore, comparison need to be built based on the notion that similar types of class or similarity of the certain comparing factors. For example, comparing two women or comparing two men, and also probably comparing two younger boys. You can't compare elderly man to a younger boy. So in a certain way, property is similar in this format. That means you compare gated guarded community to another gated guarded community. You cannot compare different types of gated guarded and to a landed property which is not gated guarded. So these are reasons that similarities may make two comparison more meaningful in the same class, than comparing things that is entirely of the different class. Right. So in terms of investment and also selection of types of property to invest, it is like in this picture, you can choose a different type of food to eat. Of course, it is also based on emotion and also sometimes meets certain types of needs. In the case of food, that probably means flavor, color, or even smell. Whereas in terms of property, it may be size of build, it could be security reasons. So there are reasons that a lot of different reasons of why certain factor is particularly important and maybe the decision making factor for buying the property. So let me maybe classify them into a few major groups. So property indexes, which we are developing for contract2u.com, is actually a comparative index. We call it the Inter-Property Index, IPI. So generally for food, you say that maybe it's types of food and also the external look lah, like maybe the smell or color or how deliciously it is presented. So in terms of property, it is intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic means built up size, style, types, or car parks number, whereas extrinsic means the surrounding that this property is able to offer amenities that is at the surrounding area, transportation that is linked to this housing estate, availability of healthcare, education, or commercial activities. So there can be two similar um, environment, but then the property might be of different build. So therefore, the class of comparison, one is intrinsic and another is extrinsic, is important. Again, we go back to the idea that you cannot compare entirely different things, but you compare like versus like. So in the case of this comparison in our contract2u.com, we have the comparison for sales and then comparison for rental. And then we have the additional of the surrounding index, which is the environmental index, the IPIE. In built into the postings, we also built in per square meter for the land. Let's say it is a semi-D house, then if it is of certain land size, then this will build into a ratio of price per square feet or price per square meter or price per acre. And then for the build of the strata building, then we would have price per square feet. So of course there are other types of properties like empty land and factory and warehouses where price per square feet may be important in consideration for the size of the building. So in summary, the contract2u index purpose is comparing like to like, almost similar types of property like two semi-D houses compared together or two condominium of about the same size like 1,200 square feet versus another one which is 1,110 square feet. So these are similar types of property, and then you can check the benefits. That means this comparing of price per benefit would give more clarity in terms of property A versus property B and C. So the Inter-Property Index aims to give a objective comparison between two types of properties based on the benefit that the property arrives at. Example that I have mentioned just now, per square feet, how many car parks, which floor level, what are the number of benefit that are coming in with the house. Like let's say, for example, the house is secure with security as a gated community. How good is the security? If it is a condominium, then what are the other facilities available? Like there is gymnasium or gyms, and also how big is the swimming pool? So all these are classified as benefits, and then the price per benefit ratio would be the IPI sales or IPI for R for rental. Then the comparing of the other factors will be environment. So in fact, including accessibility to transport, accessibility to markets, accessibility for commercial activities. So in this way, listing would have at least two types of indexes. One is the inter-property index for sales, if it is for sales, and comes with the inter-property index for environment. If it is for rental, then it will be inter-property index for rent, and also comes with its inter-property index for environment. So this is how the various listings are being compared in the website. So this is for sale. You can see that the listing has got IPIS 102.6, which is IPI E of 4.9, and therefore the comparing of this particular 102.6 versus another property which is of the landed type with 107.9. So 107.9 is in fact more expensive per benefit compared to 102.6. However, the 107.9 seems to be a double stories corner house. Of course, being corner house, it has to be with the bigger land size. So in fact, there should be a per square meter or per square feet land size comparison. So as the website incorporate all these parameters of comparing the properties, the index comparison with the size, the per square feet, per square feet price, and also per square meter price of the land, then two different landed property can be compared in a simple, straightforward manner. So definitely at the end, the selection reasons for property A versus property B would be very much on the person's choice of the location. Sometimes people tend to buy properties nearer to their comfort area. So of course, location is very important, and location comes together with issues of the accessibility to amenities. So the other comparison is for indexes for rental. So you can see that the houses having indexes 21.1 versus 21.6 and 21.8. So in terms of the sizes, 1,600 square feet, 1,200 square feet, 1,700 square feet, and the types of environment that it comes with 0.9, 2.8, 1, and 2.6. So the rental rate is 950 ringgit per month for this particular house, landed house, intermediate, and this 1,200 per rented double story house. So of course, it looks like the double story house is more expensive, but it is a double story with a bigger space, and probably the index which is 1 versus the environmental index 0.9. So they could be both quite near to each other because of the accessibility almost to the same types of facilities. Thank you very much for following up this presentation on comparison of properties by using the inter-property index. I am Thomas Sim. I'm the founder of contract2you.com. You can contact me at the number below, and also I am a probationary estate agent under Affluence Property in Kuching. Thank you very much.